Hey everybody, and welcome back to Enemy Archives, where enemies from the Legend of Zelda series are brought into the light. We're about halfway through the Reptile series, so I think it's time for a sub-boss episode, don't you? This time, we will be inspecting a very special Zelda enemy, one that not only rocks, but also rolls. These rambunctious reptiles have also been bosses in several games. Today's featured enemy is the Dodongo. Dodongos are quite familiar with many Legend of Zelda fans, even though they haven't appeared much in recent entries. These monsters are huge brutes, covered with hard exteriors, but their insides are much weaker than their outsides. So, let's get started with today's sub-boss episode. Enemy Archives Dodongos. The Legend of Zelda. Right out the door, Dodongos were seriously bossy enemies. The first time Link meets a Dodongo is in level 2, the game's second dungeon. A single Dodongo acts as this dungeon's boss, guarding a fragment of the Triforce of Wisdom. Dodongos have nearly impenetrable hides. Thankfully, Link can learn the secret to defeating the Dodongo from an old man earlier in the dungeon. Dodongo dislikes smoke. Wait a minute, aren't these tips supposed to be helpful? We'll see later that this tip may be more than a random statement after all. When in combat, Dodongos are not very aggressive. They mostly walk around the room in random directions until they bump into Link, dealing a little bit of damage. However, if you have ever fought a Dodongo, you probably know that they have one major weakness: bombs. Link can feed a bomb to a Dodongo if he places it in its path. The Dodongo must walk into the bomb to eat it though, so it's all about timing. And not running out of bombs. Remember that tip from earlier? Dodongo dislikes smoke? Well, if Link places a bomb in a Dodongo's path, but it explodes before being eaten, the Dodongo will inhale the smoke left behind. This will stun the Dodongo, and Link only needs to hit it once with his sword to instantly defeat the monster. As a bonus, when you do it like this, the Dodongo will drop extra bombs when it's dead. I guess that tip wasn't that useless after all. Ocarina of Time. There was a good break before Dodongos returned to the series, but this time they were all fired up for their big return. I mean that literally, of course, because this time Dodongos got in on the fire-breathing action. Dodongos are first found in the aptly named Dodongo's Cavern. The Gorons used to get food from this cavern, but now the Dodongos have taken control of the area. However, Link is sent into the cavern to get rid of them, so let's make sure you know how to fight them. Dodongos in Ocarina of Time have two major weaknesses. The first should sound familiar. Throw a bomb near its mouth, and hope it eats it. This is a good way to fight them at a distance, but it only works when a Dodongo is preparing a fire attack. Dodongos also have large, weak tails, which can be attacked to deal damage. This isn't always easy, as the Dodongo may whip his tail around at Link if he doesn't get clear. And if all that wasn't enough, they will explode after being defeated, possibly dealing even more damage. Other than that, there's not much to say about this generation of Dodongos. But don't leave yet, because there are some special Dodongos in this game, which we will look at in a minute. Majoras Mask. Even though Link tried his best, he just couldn't get away from Dodongos in Majora's Mask. These Dodongos are basically the same as in Ocarina of Time, except they are less common. Only a few Dodongos appear in the game, mostly in Termina Field near the Snow Peak area. However, one of these Dodongos is noticeably larger than the others. This big guy acts the same as its smaller friends, but upon being defeated, it drops a whopping 50 rupees. Not bad, unless you get crushed in the process. One other place Dodongos show up in Termina is in a secret grotto near the Icona Canyon. Two Dodongos wait in this spot for some food to fall into their home. After defeating these larger Dodongos, Link will be rewarded with a piece of heart, not to mention 100 rupees. Oracle of Seasons. For a while, it looked like Dodongos were going extinct, and that didn't exactly change in Oracle of Seasons. Only one Dodongo enemy can be found in the whole game, in the Snake's Remains dungeon. This Dodongo is a blend of the 2D and 3D Dodongos we've seen so far. For starters, it looks very similar to a sort of Triceratops, but this version can also breathe fire. The boss fight against this Dodongo takes place in a room with spikes in the center, and bomb-producing plants in the corners. The Dodongo will walk around the room, occasionally charging at full speed towards Link. After a while, it will inhale for a moment to charge up a blast of fire, but this also creates an opening. Link can toss a bomb into the Dodongo's mouth, which will stun the Dodongo temporarily. While it's stunned, Link can use the Power Bracelet to toss the Dodongo onto the spikes. This must be done several times to defeat the Dodongo, and then Link can claim the remaining heart container it leaves behind. Four Swords Adventures. If you liked the Legend of Zelda's Dodongos, have I got good news for you. Four Swords Adventures has Dodongos in 2 dungeons, and they behave almost just like the originals. These monsters are found in the Tower of Flames and the Realm of the Heavens, where 3 Dodongos are part of a boss stage each time. These Dodongos don't have many unique attacks, but they can still shoot a jet of flames when they need to. Of course, when a Dodongo opens its mouth to inhale, this is the perfect opportunity for a Link to get a bomb in. They take a few bombs to defeat, but all in all, these Dodongos are not too tough. Twilight Princess. In the mines belonging to the Gorons, Dodongos once again took up their post as the reptilian rocks we know and love. Except this time they look nothing like they did before. These Dodongos are basically giant geckos who can spit flames, with noticeably less protection than usual. These Dodongos aren't very fast or smart, but their flaming breath is still as deadly as ever. They are weak to bombs, and they can be damaged by sword attacks like in Ocarina of Time. And, if you want, you can even shoot arrows into their mouths, but this isn't as much fun as throwing bombs. Now, this may be Enemy Archives, but one helpful Dodongo is just too important to leave out. Dimitri the Dodongo appears in the Oracle games to help out the legendary hero, but he is not your regular Dodongo. In Oracle of Seasons, Dimitri has been captured by some Borblins who work for the Great Moblin. When Link frees Dimitri, he will help Link cross all sorts of obstacles, such as waterfalls and lakes. Dimitri can even eat enemies, including some that serve as obstacles that Link can't fight off himself. Strangely enough, Dimitri does not appear to be able to breathe fire, and he cannot enter hot places. If you want to keep Dimitri around, you can get a strange flute by winning at the Subrosian Dance Hall several times. In Oracle of Ages, however, there is no Subrosian Dance Hall, so instead, you can buy Dimitri's flute from the store in Lina City. Be careful though, because if you get either of the other 2 strange flutes before this one, you will be stuck with it instead of Dimitri's flute. While exploring Dodongo's Cavern, Link may encounter some small, scaly enemies that vaguely resemble Dodongos. These are baby Dodongos, and as the name would suggest, they are just that, Dodongo babies. When they spot Link, they will immediately start heading towards him, throwing themselves at Link to deal damage. Since they often come in groups, dodging them can be very tricky. When you defeat a baby Dodongo, it will flop to the ground and start flashing, and then it will promptly explode. These explosions aren't all bad though, as they can blow up cracked walls without a bomb. Now, Dodongos are already a big part of the enemy family, but what if I told you they could get bigger? In Four Swords Adventures, one monster does just that, acting as the Realm of the Heavens boss. This big blue Dodongo acts just like his smaller relatives, but he can only be defeated by level 2 bombs, which are much larger than regular bombs. As you might expect, Big Dodongo does even more damage than regular Dodongos. His immense size makes dodging him even harder. Of course, simply waiting for an opening and tossing in a powerful bomb will get the job done just fine. This big Dodongo might not be much different from normal Dodongos, but he's certainly an interesting opponent. Big Dodongo might be big, but he certainly isn't at the top of the food chain. The Dodongo to end all Dodongos, King Dodongo, has a claim on that title. Found deep in the recesses of Dodongo's Cavern, this royal reptile rolls around his room until Link drops in abruptly. This disturbance leads to an epic battle between King Dodongo and Link. King Dodongo will slowly walk around the room until he faces Link, at which point he will start charging up an attack. Normally, this will end with a massive fireball, but if young Link has his timing right, he can toss a bomb right into the King's open mouth. This will stun the Dodongo, and while he's in this state, Link must attack him before he gets back up. King Dodongo will then start rolling around the room, crushing anything in his path. The best option here is to hide under the Hylian shield, or Link will soon learn how Dodongos make pancakes. After a few rounds, King Dodongo will be unable to take any more, and he will roll dramatically into the lava, where he meets his end. Well, that was a lot of Dodongo stuff. What Dodongo caught your attention the most? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to leave a like before you go, and subscribe if you want to see more videos about the Legend of Zelda series. I'll be ready with another episode in around 2 weeks, but that's all the Dodongos can handle for today. Once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time you're in the Legend Zone.